Mr. Speaker, it is well known that a large number of our post-secondary education students have accumulated a very large amount of debt by the time that they graduate. These loans are an enormous burden on our students, averaging over $15,000 per graduate. Will the Premier consider changing student loans to non-repayable grants, as a Liberal government would do here in Manitoba?
Mr. Speaker, Manitoba has among the lowest tuition fees in the country for post-secondary students, whether at the college or at the university level. We've put that in legislation that it can only grow according to the rate of inflation. At the same time, we've increased funding to universities unlike any other province in the country during difficult times to ensure there are more spots available for young people to go to post-secondary. We're unique in having the best graduate tuition tax rebate system in the country. Some of that money is available to students in their last 2 years of their baccalaureate or undergraduate education. And when they graduate, if they live and work in Manitoba, they can get 60% of their tuition back just by the very fact of living and working in this province, which the vast majority want to do. Over 93% of the people graduating from our community colleges choose to live and work in Manitoba. They get 60% of their tuition back, which is among the lowest in the country, Mr. Speaker. If you're a medical student and you want to work in northern or rural Manitoba, you can get 100% of your tuition covered in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker. And the good thing about it is, Mr. Speaker, we have jobs here for Manitobans. We have jobs. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm well aware of the provincial rebate for a portion of the student loans, and also aware that the rebate is primarily available if a graduate is making enough income to claim it, and primarily available only after a student has graduated. This doesn't do much to relieve the economic distraction of how to survive day to day while in school. Will the Premier not even consider switching student loans to non-repayable grants, as a Liberal government in Manitoba will do?
Mr. Speaker, we have a very robust bursary program in Manitoba. I was at an event just recently where literally dozens of young Manitobans got bursaries. We paid 50% of them. Sponsors in the business community paid another 50% of them. That allowed a lot of young people, some of them were parents already, to be able to ensure that they could go to school. We have a tuition waiver program at the University of Winnipeg for anybody coming out of the child welfare system that wants to go to post-secondary. They're getting an education. They're getting an opportunity to go back and provide strength and leadership to their families. We're always open to new ideas, but the policy being put forward by the member would actually reduce the support to young people in Manitoba. Our interest program on loans in Manitoba is interest-free for the first time ever in the history of this province. You don't build up interest on your debt. You get a chance to have a job here, pay that back with the lowest tuition fees in the country, and we will remain open to new ideas. But the number one way to get rid of any obligation for education is to have a good job after, which is why we have the First Jobs Now program. People that are graduating from post-secondary get a chance for a career right here in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier says he's got a robust bursary program. Why was it cut almost in half since 2008? Also, the Premier claws back the student loans if a student is able to eke out an income of $100 a week while in school. Sure, the NDP are doing a lot of what students don't want them to have done to them. After more than 16 years, will the Premier finally see that the Liberal approach of dramatically improving his punitive student aid program is the right thing to do?
Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the information. We have a student aid program for post-secondary students worth $33 million. The member opposite is promising to put a $10 million program in place.
How are you going to do that?
That tells me they're going to be worse off.
Yeah.
If you're getting $33 million now and only $10 million under their program, do the math. They're going to be worse off, Mr. Speaker. The graduate tuition rebate program is there. The First Jobs Now program is there. No interest on your student loans, Mr. Speaker. And in Manitoba, we also promote another very important part of post-secondary education. It's called co-op education. and I was involved in this when I taught there. You can actually get a job in the area where you're training in while you're going to university or college. That gives you a job credit, that gives you income, that gives you an opportunity for a career right after. And those co-op education programs, over 70% of people that participate in them get a job after when they graduate, because the employers know them. They see the quality of the young people we have in Manitoba. They see the quality of the education. The way forward is good supports for young people to get a high quality education and a good job. That's the way forward in Manitoba.